So I have an actual copy of the book here. Check this out, huh? Look at that. With every copy.
Okay, so they're basically saying there's nothing real about this book. But it gets worse. You see, when politicians leave office, they usually write books to rebuild their image, make money, or prepare for another run. But here's what nobody's talking about. Kamala Harris didn't just lose the election. She lost it badly. She started with $1 billion in campaign funds and ended up $20 to $30 million in debt. That's not a loss, that's a financial disaster. So is this book really about sharing her story, or is it about making money to pay off those debts? The panel is about to reveal something even more shocking about how fake this whole thing is. Watch this.
You know, she just slapped a cover around like a farmer's almanac. There's no book in that book. She has not held a book in years.
There's a cutout of a wine bottle. There you go. Like that's
Yeah,
where she keeps her
it's a wine bottle safe.
Totally.
Did you hear that? Ghostwriter. Now, this is actually a huge problem in political books. Most politicians don't actually write their own books. They hire professional writers to do it for them. But here's the twist. The panel is saying that Kamala's announcement video was so bad, it looked like she was reading about her own book for the first time. Think about that. She's announcing a book about her personal journey, but she can't even talk about it naturally. And here's what makes this even more suspicious. They mention how you can tell when someone actually wrote something versus when they're just reading a script. The panel member says they've written books themselves, and you can always tell the difference. But wait until you hear what they say about her ego and whether she'll run again.
Emily, she said she's not going to run for California governor, but she's going to do this book. Do you think she's actually going to put anything truthful in it?
In the book?
Yeah.
No, 2 words, ghostwriter. Even her ad for this was so obviously like she was reading it for the first time. Talk about robotic.
Now this is where the story gets really interesting. See, there's a strategy here that's actually pretty smart if you think about it. If Kamala never runs for office again, some people will always wonder, what if she had run again? Could she have won? But if she runs and loses again, she becomes a 2-time loser, and her political career is completely over. So maybe this book isn't about making a comeback. Maybe it's about preserving whatever reputation she has left. But here's the problem. The Democratic Party insiders are already telling her not to run. According to the panel, focus groups showed terrible numbers for her favorability and electability. She's never won a competitive national race. She was handed the nomination, not earned it. And now, the party wants her gone. But the brutal honesty is about to reach a whole new level.
I'm wondering if, you know, at this point, she's retired after the Super Bowl. Even though she's a failed presidential candidate, she has all of these yes men surrounding her saying, dang, I wish you would have run for governor. Please run for 2028 president, etc. I'm wondering if her ego is going to be such that she's like, you're right, I should do it. Or if she realizes that this is the highest stock she'll ever have. That if she gets out now, there will always be people that will say, no, please have stayed in. And that way she will not be another failed presidential candidate.
So let's break this down. According to inside sources, the Democratic Party ran focus groups to see if Kamala should run again. And the answer was a massive no. But here's what's really devastating. They're saying she was anointed, not elected. That means the party just handed her the nomination without her having to compete for it. And even with that massive advantage, even with $1 billion, even with the entire party machine behind her, she still lost. Now, the panel mentions something crucial. Her being on the ballot actually helped Trump win. Think about how bad that is. You're so unpopular that your presence in the race helps your opponent. But wait, one of the panelists makes a joke that's actually revealing a deeper truth. Listen to this next part carefully.
My sources told me that the focus group was very clear when they were trying to figure out whether she should win again, and it was very, very concerning. They said, no, concerned about favorability, concerned about electability. She has never won a national competitive race. She was the anointed candidate of the Democratic Party.
Okay, so that was a harsh joke about drinking, but here's why it matters. Throughout this entire segment, the panel keeps making references to wine and alcohol. Now, whether that's fair or not, the fact that these jokes keep coming up tells you something about how she's perceived by critics. But beyond the jokes, there's a real point being made here. The book is called 107 Days. That's how long her campaign lasted. But think about what that means. In just 107 days, she managed to burn through $1 billion and lose an election. That's less than 4 months. Most campaigns last over a year. So, what's really going to be in this book? Can you fill an entire book with just 107 days of content? Or is this going to be a lot of filler and fluff? The panel's about to reveal what they think is the real reason behind this book.
Andrew, book is called 107 Days. I think originally it was going to be .107, and it was going to be about her average blood alcohol content.
Oh, there we go. You know, that's a good one. I like that. I'm going to dwell in that.
.107.
And there it is. The real truth comes out. This isn't about reflection or sharing her journey. This is about money. She's $20 to $30 million in debt from her campaign. And here's the scary part. He mentions audits. That means there might be investigations into how she spent that $1 billion. Where did all that money go? How do you spend that much and still end up in massive debt? Political campaigns are supposed to file detailed reports about spending, but something clearly went wrong here. So this book might actually be a way to make quick money before any potential scandals break. But here's what nobody expected. One of the panelists makes a comparison that's absolutely brutal. You have to hear this.
But this comes down to money, right? If you look at it, the real hard facts are she got handed this nomination with $1 billion in the bank. She walked out, she lost, and she's got negative $20, $30 million in the bank. And I have a feeling that there's going to be some audits on that.
That last line is savage. Imagine writing a book without ever having read a book. But beyond the insult, there's a real question here about her capabilities. The panelist is saying she's not capable of winning anything where she actually has to compete. And if you look at her political history, there might be some truth to that. Her 2020 presidential primary campaign failed before a single vote was cast. She dropped out early because she had no support. Then she was chosen as VP not through competition, but through selection. Then she was handed the 2024 nomination without a primary. So when has she actually won a competitive race? This is the question the panel keeps coming back to. But there's one more devastating observation about the book itself. Listen to this.
I don't think she'll even run for president. I don't think she'll ever run for an elected office again because she'll have to win. Like, I don't think she'll ever do anything again where she has to win because I don't think she's capable of winning. I will say, it's gonna sound a little, I'm actually kind of impressed that Kamala Harris wrote a book. Imagine writing a book without ever having read a book.
So they're saying the book just repeats itself over and over. And then they compare her writing style to Joe Biden's, suggesting both would be incoherent, but for different reasons. Now, these are obviously jokes and insults, but they raise a serious question. Will this book actually contain anything of substance? Will there be honest reflections about what went wrong? Will she take responsibility for the failures? Or will it be a carefully crafted PR piece designed to protect her image and make money? History tells us that political books by failed candidates rarely contain real truth. They're usually about blame shifting, making excuses, and setting up for future opportunities. But in Kamala's case, with her political future looking so bleak, maybe this really is just about the money. So here's what you need to know.
And I got a copy of this book. I actually think that she wrote it.
Really?
Because after the first 5 pages, it just repeats the same 5 pages over and over and over again. It's a real page burner.
I wonder if you did like take her book and Joe's book, could you tell, like they would probably be almost the same. Because
Yeah.
one would be like incoherence because of brain dead, and the other one is incoherence because of just wet brain from booze.
So there you have it. Kamala Harris announces a book, and the Fox News panel absolutely destroys it in every way possible. From questioning whether she actually wrote it, to exposing her campaign debt, to predicting her political career is over, they held nothing back. The real question is, will you buy this book? Will America give her another chance? Or is this really the end of Kamala Harris in politics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more breakdowns like this where we analyze political moments and media reactions, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell.